One kick, one split second of icy composure. That was all it took for Isaiya Katoa to rip the heart out of New Zealand Rugby League and simultaneously send a shockwave through the coaching career of Wayne Bennett. In the 76th minute of a bruising Pacific Championships clash, with the weight of an entire nation on his shoulders, the 20-year-old Dolphins playmaker stepped up and slotted a match-winning field goal that felt like a personal statement. It wasn't just a point on the scoreboard, it was a loud, defiant answer to the critics who claimed he wasn't ready for the big stage. As the ball sailed through the uprights, the silence in Auckland was deafening for some, but for Katoa, it was the sound of total vindication. Subscribe to all sports updates right now for the most explosive NRL analysis and breaking news. We bring you the stories that define the game, from locker room drama to match-winning heroics. Join our community and never miss a beat of the action. The narrative surrounding Katoa had been growing increasingly sour in the lead-up to this international window. Just months earlier, Wayne Bennett had made a decision that many deemed the beginning of the end for the Dolphins season. He dropped his young star for the final 2 games of the NRL regular season. Bennett, known for his tough love approach, went with Sean O'Sullivan and Jake Averillo, banking on experience over the raw, unpolished brilliance of his rookie halfback. The move backfired spectacularly as the Dolphins looked rudderless and eventually crashed out of finals contention. While Bennett defended the choice as a learning curve for the youngster, Katoa's performance against the Kiwis proved that he didn't just learn the lesson, he mastered the curriculum and threw it back in the face of the master coach. For New Zealand, this loss was more than just a localized disaster, it was a brutal exposure of the Michael Maguire truth. Under Maguire, the Kiwis were a team built on ironclad discipline and a terrifying physical edge, exemplified by their 30-0 demolition of the Kangaroos in 2023. But with Maguire moving on to the Brisbane Broncos after a messy divorce from the national side, the hard-nosed identity seems to have vanished overnight. The team that once looked like the best in the world suddenly appeared fragile and disconnected under the new regime. In the first half against Tonga, they didn't just look slow, they looked like they had forgotten how to play as a unit, falling behind 24-0 in a flurry of missed tackles and poor structural decisions. The storytelling of this game will forever be framed as the moment the international balance of power shifted. While the Kiwis staged a miraculous second-half comeback to level the scores at 24-all, it was Katoa who refused to let the momentum swallow his team whole. He had struggled significantly against Australia just 2 weeks prior, with a kicking game that lacked depth and precision. Many expected the pressure of a New Zealand fight back to break him. Instead, he found a level of maturity that typically takes a decade to cultivate. He controlled the tempo, directed his rampaging forwards like Adin Fonua-Blake, and waited for the exact moment to strike. His field goal wasn't a desperate heave, it was a calculated execution that made a mockery of the idea that he couldn't handle crunch time. This is All Sports Updates, your home for the raw truth behind the jerseys. If you are enjoying this deep dive into the shifting tides of the NRL and International League, hit that like button and let us know your thoughts in the comments. We are just getting started. The fallout from this result is catastrophic for the New Zealand Rugby League. 12 months after being the kings of the mountain, they are now facing a humiliating promotion-relegation playoff just to stay in the top tier for 2025. The decision to prioritize a full-time coach over Michael Maguire's dual-role request is looking more like a self-inflicted wound with every passing day. Fans are left wondering how a team with so much talent could look so clunky and directionless. The aura of invincibility Maguire built was stripped away by a Tongan side that simply wanted it more, led by a kid who was told by the greatest coach in history that he wasn't quite ready for the pressure of a finals run. Wayne Bennett's reputation for being an oracle of player management has taken a rare hit here. While he has always maintained that dropping Katoa was about long-term development, the optics are undeniable. Katoa is currently doing things on the international stage that the Dolphins desperately needed during their late-season collapse. There is a sense of irony that Bennett, who is now taking over a South Sydney Rabbitohs side in desperate need of a spark, watched from the sidelines as the player he protected became the executioner of a national team. Katoa didn't just play well, he played with the swagger of someone who knows he belongs at the very top of the hierarchy, a trait that makes his benching in the NRL look even more questionable. The Tongan victory also highlights a massive cultural shift in the game. For years, the international landscape was a two-horse race between Australia and New Zealand, but the rise of the Pacific nations has shattered that duopoly. Katoa's field goal is the symbol of a new era where allegiance and pride outweigh the lure of the Big Two. The scenes in Auckland, with a sea of red jerseys drowning out the home crowd, showed that the heart of rugby league now beats in the islands. Kato is the poster boy for this movement, a young man who chose his heritage and found his greatest success under the guidance of Christian Wolff, the man who stayed loyal to him even when the NIL world was doubting his consistency. As the dust settles on the 2024 to 2025 international season, the Michael Maguire truth is undeniable. He was the glue holding the Kiwis together, and without him, they are a ship lost at sea. Meanwhile, Isaiya Katoa has transformed from a promising rookie into a bona fide match winner. He has proven that talent doesn't need to be aged like a fine wine. Sometimes, it just needs to be trusted. The mockery of Bennett's call isn't about disrespect, it's about the reality that greatness often arrives ahead of schedule. New Zealand must now find a way to rebuild their identity before the 2026 World Cup, or risk being left behind by a Tongan revolution led by the very halfback the NIL tried to tell us was too young for the big moments. Thank you for watching All Sports Updates. We want to hear from you. Did Wayne Bennett make the biggest mistake of the year by dropping Katoa, or was it necessary for his growth? And can the Kiwis ever get back to their Maguire-era dominance? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for all your latest sports news and analysis. We will see you in the next one as we continue to track the rise of Isaiya Katoa and the fall of the Kiwis. Would you like me to create a detailed timeline of Isaiya Katoa's rise from the Panthers juniors to his match-winning heroics for Tonga?